Welcome to Let's Get Vulnerable. I'm your host, Dr. Morgan, and we have a very special guest with us here today. Welcome, Morgan, to the show. I love it. We have the same name. You may know her on Instagram as Web Girl Morgan. She's also the host of the Take This Personally podcast, which I had the pleasure of going on. It's a wonderful show. And you are so great at talking about all of the messy parts of life, the things that we're going through in real time, and sharing your experience and knowledge. And you have some really great life updates that are juicy. And we have to talk about it all. So, welcome to the show. I am so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. I am excited to dive in because you also have juicy life updates. I've been living vicariously through your wedding photos, so I'm so excited for this.
Oh my gosh, we were just talking about this how when I was on your show, I was in my engaged era. And you were single.
Yeah, very much in my single girl era. We were in completely different parts of our life when we did my podcast.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we're going to talk about all the things. I want to hear about your boyfriend because you guys are the cutest thing. I keep seeing your content on Instagram. Every time I see it, I just like giggle and I leave all these comments. I'm sure your boyfriend is like, who is this person that keeps commenting? Because it's just so awesome to see the effort, the care. Like you have really opened up with, wow, this is a healthy relationship. And these are some of the things I'm experiencing. So yeah, tell us like some of the basics. How long have you been together? How did you guys meet? Give us the update.
Okay, so yes, his name's Braden, but I call him
You are
Mr.
sharing
B.
his name. Okay, some
I
people
am.
are weird. Okay, so
It
we
was
can have
kind
the
of like,
name.
yeah, I was so private about it for a while, and then I just kind of hit a point where I was like, this is something completely different than I've ever experienced, and I'm ready to share it with the world. However, whether it continues beautifully into my happy ever after or it crash and burns, I'm just excited to share it because it's a really safe and happy relationship. And so we did a whole podcast episode together, but I have my nickname for him is Mr. B. So that's how I refer to him as most of the time. If I use his government name, he feels like he's in trouble or something. So
I love
we
it.
don't
Okay,
we don't
Mr.
really
B.
say. Yeah. So Mr. B, but we started dating really beginning of April-ish, but we met in March. My girlfriends were in town and they were just so dead set on finding me someone because these are my girlfriends who I've known since really my childhood teen years, and they have seen me go through it, and they were like, "It's time. We gotta find you someone, and we're gonna choose him this time because it hasn't been working." And it was so funny because I was really focused on it being a girls' weekend. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to hang out with my friends and focus on them coming to town, but they just had other plans. So one night we were out at a brand new bar. We'd only been there, we went there the night before, and it's really funny because I didn't want to go back a second night. I'm very notorious for that. Like once I've tried something, I want to try everything else before I go back to another place.
I
Very
love
much
it.
my personality. And so reluctantly, I'm standing in line to go back into this bar that we had just spent the night before in. And we're in there, and I'm like, okay, guys, like, we should go somewhere new. You guys are only in town for the weekend. And they spotted this guy in the bar that was wearing a drink beer pet dog shirt. And they're like, Morgan, he's so cute. You need to talk to him. And I didn't even look in his direction. I just ignored them. I was like, girls, it's a girls' weekend. We've discussed this. We're having fun. And then one of my other girlfriends took it upon herself to go over, tap him on the shoulder, didn't introduce herself, didn't say, hey, we think you should meet our friend or anything. Was just like, hey, you're coming with me. And pulls him over to me, taps me on the shoulder, and we basically like turn around to each other and lock eyes. And it's just like, ah, crap, this guy's really cute. Okay, fine, I'll talk to him. You guys made this happen. And from that moment on, he's been in my life ever since.
Oh, I love it. That's beautiful.
It is. It's very not something I ever saw coming because I was on the dating apps. I did not in my wildest dreams think I would meet someone, let alone the best guy I've ever dated in real life.
This is a great story. And I feel like there's so much beneath the surface of this story too. So I want to get into that because obviously, I mean, there's a world where you could have met him, but you weren't actually ready. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? So I want to talk about like what are the things that you feel like you had to do in order to become ready for somebody who's emotionally available, who wants to give to you, who wants to, as I would say, co-create a secure attachment and do the work of doing that. What did you have to do on your healing journey to get ready for that kind of partner?
I mean, so much over the course of time, honestly, when I truly look back on it, because hindsight is always 2020. You can really look back and see the healing that happened, even though you didn't realize it was quite happening. I think every relationship I had been in post my abusive relationship, because that one is just an anomaly all on its own. But post that relationship, I had to go through so much work. I had to, I spent 3 years single after that relationship, healing, trying to understand why I was in that relationship, what happened, what was the course of events that led me there. Then I meet someone who was a little bit more emotionally available, but not quite, had his own problems, ended up cheating. And I was like, okay, maybe I didn't learn that. It felt very much like I would take 5 steps forward and 2 steps back over the course of time. Like, I was healing and I was doing the work and I was really putting an effort to make sure I was finding high quality people, but it just like life would smack me back in the face, say, "Nope, not quite. Let's try that again." And so then I stayed single after him, and I remember sitting in therapy being like, "Am I just gonna have to be with men who cheat on me? Is this my reality?" And I remember my therapist looking at me and saying, "No, this is not a reality, and I need you to wait until it's not." And those words really sat with me for a while because I was like, "Sure, you say that, but I've been cheated on in every relationship that I've been in. So what's going to make somebody else different?" And it truly ended up being me that was different because the next relationship I entered after that one, we ended up having different values and beliefs is the reason it ended up not working, but he was very safe and he was very consistent and he was very kind. And I don't think it's funny because I look at that, I'm like, why did I even date that guy? It was like 6 months and it was like really intense and then it ended, but it was really good. And I talk to my boyfriend now and I often tell him, I'm like, I realize I needed to meet him before you because otherwise, I think I would have ran away from a safe relationship. He was my first introduction to understanding that somebody could not cheat on you, they could be safe, and they could be consistent. And had I not had met him and had that experience before my now boyfriend, I think I would have pushed him away. Because there's still moments where I want to push him away. There's still moments where something happens and I go into a freeze or flight and he just sits me down and we talk through it and I tell him what's going on. And I don't know that I could have done any of that had I not had every step that led me to that moment. And so much of that work in me too was happening while those relationships were happening because I was paying attention to signs. I was paying attention to what mattered to me most. I was paying attention to, okay, well, what are the pros and cons of each of these and what do I find genuinely necessary? And before I had met my now boyfriend, it was about a month prior, I had a really intense conversation with one of my girlfriends and I was like, I have figured it out. I need to find someone with a heart that's the size of mine, if not bigger. It's not about anything else. Like, I have to find somebody who has the empathy that I have.
That's so
And
beautiful.
yeah, and it was like, that was it. And that was him. And that's who it is now. It's funny. We joke often with each other that we don't know whose heart is actually bigger because we both just have a lot of empathy and compassion. And I've never met somebody else like that.
That's so beautiful. Ugh. I am very hormonal right now, so I have, like, tears in my eyes. I'm like, is it this?" I don't know. I feel very emotional you saying this. I so relate to it. I feel like my husband, which is still weird just to call him my husband, it's so new, but my husband is the same way. He is the kindest person. I always tell people he is the nicest, kindest, most loving, empathic person you'll ever meet, and he always says the same thing about me. So I very much relate to those standards that you talked about, getting clear on that.
Mhm.
Um,
When you
what I
have you because, like, you can relate, when I think of something that I was always missing in those past relationships, I'm curious if it's the same for you because it was always missing that I just had, like, a notch more love to give, or I had a notch more empathy for what they were going through, or I had just a bit more compassion with a particular situation. It was never reciprocated, and that's what I was missing, and I it's almost like I could never pinpoint it until I found it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of those things that it's really hard. You can do your best, but it's hard to create a model for something when you haven't experienced it. That's why
Mhm.
there's so much healing. We talk about corrective emotional experiences that happen in relationships, right? You're a great example of that, of dating the person before your now partner helped you have some of those corrective experiences, and you could internalize, "Oh, this is what a healthy relationship feels like." And then getting into your relationship now, it is one of those things. How do you create a model for somebody that has a heart that is as big as yours or bigger? It's hard to conceptualize intellectually. You have to feel it, experience it emotionally. That was definitely my experience, that I did a lot of work to conceptualize it and create the new model in rewiring my brain and getting clear on what I deserved, but I couldn't fully get the model until I was experiencing it for
Mhm.
sure.
It's like
Um,
it's this idea and you are like, "Okay, well, I know this is what I need, but does it even exist?" And then you start to question, "Okay, are my standards too high? Am I looking for something that doesn't exist? What's the catch
yeah,
gonna be?" Was very much my mode after I, like, realized it a month prior to meeting him. Then I start, like, rationalizing in my brain, "Okay, sure, Morgan, but where the heck are you gonna find that? Where does that even exist?"
yeah, it's
But
so true. It does
I
exist.
had s yes, and I had someone tell me, you know, or it might have been an Instagram quote that I saw, but it was like something to the effect of, "You know that this impossible thing exists because you exist."
Yes. I always
And
say
that
that to my clients. Yeah.
yep, changed my
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah. You know it exists because you exist. And I think this is such an important conversation because we don't want to paint this picture of like, oh, Morgan just got super lucky and she met this person and it's just by all of this luck. It's actually, I really truly believe it's because you healed enough and you made yourself emotionally available enough that you then opened your heart. And of course, there's a little bit of luck. There, whatever you want to call it, divine intervention, um,
The right
invisible
timing.
streak theory, whatever
Yeah.
name the woo-woo girls have for it, there is a little bit of that, but I believe it's so much more about you opened your heart. You did the internal work that made it possible for him to come into your life.
Absolutely. I fully believe it's all intertwined in a way, you know? I don't think had I been the person that I was the night that we met, we probably just would have been 2 ships passing in the night. And, you know, divine timing, if you call it, or the way that the world has chosen to make it work, put us in the same place at the same time when not just me, but he was also ready and said, "You know
Yeah.
what? Yeah, we're gonna make this happen because it's time." And that feels so wild to me because it is. I truly believe who I was in that moment played such a significant role, and he feels the same way that he has been through enough things and he's had stuff happen in his life that he's had to heal from, and if both of us had not taken the steps and the work to put in to be that person that we were both standing in that bar that night, it just could have been an entirely different outcome.
I love it. And it sounds like the two of you have had really open conversations about those past experiences,
Very much
past
so.
relationships. Yeah, he's opened
Yeah.
up with you.
Yeah, and we both have. It's interesting because he hasn't had the experience in past relationships where communication is very important, and I am a master communicator. I tell you how I feel when I feel it in the moment. It will just blurt out of me, like, sometimes a little unrelentless, like, sometimes I have to learn to put a lid on myself, but he really likes that. He always knows what I'm feeling, even if I can't quite express it in the moment. The other night, we had a moment where something, like, kind of hit me the wrong way, and nothing he did bad. He went and hung out with some friends, and boys' days or boys' nights were always really triggering for me in past relationships because they meant something was going to happen, and I knew that, right? Past Morgan only experienced toxic boys' night where bad things happen. And so my anxiety was just raging and could not handle, and I wasn't mad at him and I wasn't acting out against him, but he could tell that something was off in our, like, energy with each other just texting throughout the day. And he came home and he was like, "Hey, I just need to check in with you. Like, did I do something wrong? Because it feels like I did something wrong." And I was like, "No, that was entirely me. And it was me fighting really hard against past experiences to not hold you accountable. And if I was coming off that way, like, I'm so sorry. That is not how I wanted it." And I tried really hard to fight her. But we had this open conversation and now it's very just it what could have been this, like, buildup of resentment, just it was easily squashed within hours because we saw what happened, we both felt it, and we said, "Okay, what's going on? Cool, time to move on, and how do we do better next time?"
I love this example. Oh my gosh, I relate to this so much. And I think everybody listening relates to this of the story you're telling yourself, right? And that's that representation of that part of you that maybe has the anxious attachment, right? That you had to have in past relationships because there wasn't that secure base. So that's what was required for survival in the relationship. But now that you're in this new relationship, you can be curious about that part of yourself, give her compassion, and then also go to your partner and get the reassurance, right?
Mhm. And
But
that's
I'm over here
exactly what it
giggling to
was.
myself because I so relate to this, Morgan. Like my husband, he's a fly fisherman,
Fly I
and
love this.
and, like, I used to have the same thing of, like, past partners, it's like, "Oh, they're going out with the guys, they're gonna go to Hooters, they're gonna go to the strip club, they're gonna go, and maybe I'm gonna get cheated on," right? Because that's happened in the
Mhm.
past, right? Or I'm not gonna hear from them, and they're gonna text me the next day at 6 AM, I'm not gonna hear from them all night. My husband, when it's, like, a guy's night or a guy's day, he's, like, with his guy friends out on a boat, and they're sending me fish pictures, like
Isn't that so comforting, though? Like, when
Yes.
you have someone and you finally realize, "Oh, no, this is what that's supposed to feel like," and you hanging out with your friends is not only supposed to be good and normal, it's also supposed to be healthy in this, like,
Yes.
just safe situation, just like when we know what it's like to go and hang out with our friends and it's safe and there's nothing bad happening. But to
Yes.
realize that that exists in male form and that there are also ones out there who don't need to go out and go to a strip club and go get drunk and
Yes.
do horrible things. It's a crazy realization.
Well, and I just love this conversation so much because it's like, okay, let's say the scenario is, and this actually happened. So my husband went on a bachelor trip. We know those are notorious for all kinds of things happening, right?
Oh, yeah, my
And
anxiety is just, like, rising and nothing's even happening right now.
right, it's like, oh, okay. So, there's going to be a lot of things going on. And I remember, I think we're 2 years into our relationship and we've been together almost 5, so it was kind of early-ish, but, I remember telling him, "Hey, I need some extra reassurance." And it was so funny because I remember him, like, sending me photos of, like, them throughout the night, texting me goodnight. He happily gave me whatever reassurance I needed, and there was no reason to be worried. When you're in the secure relationship, your partner's gonna give you that reassurance, and they want you to feel secure, whatever you need.
Mhm. Yes, and that alone gives you a lot of security that they're willing to do, it
Yes.
when he looked at me and he said, "Hey, like, I can text you more updates, I can tell you what's going on." I said, "No, that I appreciate that, and I know that's what would be helpful for me, but I know that's not the healthy choice for me. What I need is to work through this."
Yes.
And it's just continuing to build our trust together and know that I will never have to face a situation like that again. But that also takes trusting myself. It was really funny because I said to him, "It's not that I don't trust you, it's that I don't trust myself." And he was like, "What? I don't understand that." And I said, "I don't trust myself that I made the right decision. Like, I don't trust that you're gonna be the guy that's gonna be different. I think that I messed up." It's like this when I really look deep into something, it doesn't have to do with the other person. It's, "Hey, Morgan, you're not trusting your own decision that you made because you've made hard decisions before that weren't the right
Mhm.
one." And it's recognizing that I have to accept the decision that I made and know that I made the right one. And honestly, like, bottom of the barrel trying to get to that point and, like, really believe in myself again and trust myself again after things that, like, you and I have both experienced is one of the toughest things and takes the only thing that makes it better is time, honestly.
Yeah, I love that you're talking about this because self-trust really is at the root of it all. It really is.
Mhm,
It's at the root. Do I trust myself? And do I trust myself that I can make good relationship decisions no matter what happens? I trust myself to
mhm,
make good relationship decisions, right? And I think I love that you brought up self-soothing. Like, I'm not gonna outsource my emotional regulation to my partner, right? I'm gonna trust myself that, hey, I can move myself to secure. So this is such an important piece. And yeah, when you've been in a relationship with a narcissist or a really toxic relationship, you have to rebuild. You have to rebuild
mhm.
from the bottom because that self-trust was completely shattered at one
Well,
point.
and like you're saying with the bachelor party, there's gonna be moments where I'm gonna need that reassurance. There's gonna be moments where I need a little extra care and guidance, but there's also just me owning the part that I'm playing in all of this in this entire new
Yes.
relationship is that I'm bringing this to the table, so I also have to take ownership of it. It can't just all be on him to help me through it, even though I need him to work through it. A lot of the work that has to be done is through me versus him having to change certain things,
Yes.
and so you're gonna have both,
You're
you're gonna
gonna have
have
both.
moments of both, and you should, but I just wanna make sure that's also clear because I know just like you mentioned, you should be able to have reassurance whenever you need it. But it's just
Yeah.
hopefully also digging a little bit deeper to say, okay, how can I set it up so I don't need that next time? Because at the end of the day, you're going to set yourself up for success, not just in this relationship, but for your entire life.
Yeah, I love the nuance of this. People miss this so much. The way that I explain this with clients is you need to be able to self-soothe and get yourself to as secure of a place as possible. That's step
Mhm.
1. It's like, okay, I'm going to self-soothe. I'm going to move myself to secure as much as I can. And then we want to go to our partners from the secure place.
Yep.
And ask them, "Hey, I got myself 75% of the way to secure. Can you help me with this last 25?" Instead of what so many of us have done in the past in unhealthy dynamics where we're coming to our partner when we're at 0% and we're
Mhm.
spiraling, and it's
Eh,
big emotions.
well, most of the time, they're the partner is the reason that you're at 0%. So you're asking for 0% from a
Yeah.
0% place.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Mhm. Yeah,
Absolutely. This is
it's
so
so
good.
tough. Genuinely, like, I recognize how hard that is because I was just in it, and I know the anxiety that was flowing through my body, the thoughts that were racing through my head, and I was just sitting there like, "How do I even get out of this? How do I
Yeah.
get" I have this partner who's amazing, who's given me 0 reason to believe anything else, but for whatever reason, my body wants to go back to this place that wasn't safe. And that's so tough. It's tough no regardless of what you're trying to work through, taking yourself back to a place that feels unsafe and scary is it's not what anybody wants to do.
No, and to me, I think what helps, you already talked about it, time, and then also just doing that work of intentionally releasing it, not just holding on to it, whether it's something like the program I have or going to therapy or finding whatever is right for you, but releasing that trauma, revisiting it from the emotionally available adult place, because otherwise you just carry it with you into every new relationship.
Mhm.
So I know we touched on that, but I also don't wanna give the illusion that you're ever 100% secure. That's
No.
not that's a myth.
Yeah, there and it goes along with that same belief where you have to be 100% healed to start dating and find
Right.
actually, like, nobody's ever 100% healed. I think we're all gonna always be a little bit cracked and working on stuff, so
Yes.
to think that you have to be completely 100% ready, healthy, fully emotionally at this place is a wild concept. What you really should be is just open and ready to evolve, would be
Aware.
more accurate. Mhm.
Yeah. I think it's
Yes.
helpful to be aware, and I always tell people, like, "Sure, I think you're gonna have a more enjoyable time, and it's gonna be a bit easier when we can be as close to secure as possible," but this idea that you ever hit 100% is false. It's just not
Mhm.
not how it works. Um
Absolutely.
You've been sharing these adorable reels on social media about watching football, and you and I are the same. We're like, "Go sports girls."
Yep, could care less. Do not know what the red, blue, and everything is happening on the screen. Yep. Mhm.
I mean, I love football because it's like I get to do other little things and it's this excuse to just like sit on the couch and I'm like, researching the latest Amazon find or it's like downtime. Um but I love seeing your reels because you've talked about how in order to make it fun, your boyfriend, Mr. B, is making you snacks.
Yes. Mhm.
So
So
how did this come about? Tell us, because this is an example of secure attachment. So tell us how this happened.
yes. Okay, so this all also comes from a place where the radio show that I'm on, the Bobby Bones show, there was one time where I shared a very controversial opinion that I didn't want to date somebody who spent their entire Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday watching every football game. I thought that's absurd. I don't understand how you can be a good partner or a good father or a good, if that is all you spend your time doing. It wasn't this belief that, like, you can't watch sports or you shouldn't be invested in a team. It was just like we were seeing all these stories about people being like, I'm not going to go to that kid's birthday party. I have a game to watch. And it wasn't even their team, or, you know, this belief that football was bigger than family and friends and stuff like that. And so that was where my opinion came out of. And it's so funny because the universe delivered me a man who's very passionate about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it was funny because I had to share with him my opinion on that. And he's like, this is a guy who loves sports and he would love to watch them all the time. And, now he's sharing a house with a woman who doesn't watch sports at all. And so it was this funny dynamic where he was like, no, I'm actually, as long as you're not bothered by me like playing fantasy football and like making bets, you can take me to the pumpkin patch and I'll, know what's going on my phone. I'm fine. And I was like, this is perfect because and his thing that he always wanted was to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was like the game that mattered that he wanted to make sure he saw and he was sitting down and watching. And I said, that's an easy compromise. We can totally make that work. And you can even watch other games whenever you want, so long as we don't have big family or friend plans and, football is overarching that. So then it came to, hey, well, do you want to watch them with me? Because I'd love to watch them with you. This was like him wanting to get me involved and get me on the
Mm.
team. And I said, honestly, it was a joke. I said, if you make me snacks for the game, I'll totally probably be more invested because I love a snack. And he was like, okay, deal. And I was like, wait, really? You're gonna make me snacks? He was like, yeah, if that's how I'm gonna get you to like try and hopefully get you in the fandom of Pittsburgh Steelers, and this is what we're gonna do." And it just turned into every time they have a game now, he's planning in the week, like, "Okay, I figured out my snack. This is what we're gonna do." And now it's just become a whole thing that every week I have a snack and he watches the game. And I am now fully enjoying sports, which I never saw
I love
coming.
it. And this even got to the point where you 2 were in different places for a game, and he had made snacks and left them for you.
Yes, yeah, he left kind of a little scavenger hunt. I got a text message the morning of a Sunday, and he was like, "Go check this drawer in this room," and I was like, "Okay." So I go, and there's a handwritten note, has a poem of what's happening that in that game and what snack he made for me, and I had seen him make something, but I wasn't exactly sure because we kinda meal prep and stuff for all other things, and I didn't think much
Oh.
of it, but come to realize it was the Sunday snack, so here I am on a Sunday, he's not even with me, and I'm watching the Pittsburgh Steelers because he made me a snack, so
See,
it
this
worked.
is you know what's so attractive about this is it's the effort. It's the effort.
Mhm. Very much so. It's all about him, 1, wanting to share something with me that he so loves, and how could he share it with me in a way that will make me love it? He wasn't just thinking like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna force her to do this because this is what's necessary for me." He said, "How can I make sure she loves it in the way that I love it?" And he just went so above and beyond to do that and make that happen because, you're always gonna have the people who come and say, "Well, he could just watch the games by himself," and, he could. He very much has that right, but
Right.
he didn't want to. He chose and wants to watch those games with me, and this is how he knew to go about it because my love is food and his love is football, so what better way than to combine 2 things that we both love to make it just this enjoyable experience for both of us and become a tradition for both of us now.
I love it. Well, we are a, Ohio State Buckeye family. We're college football fans.
Okay.
I have become a fan along with him because it is so important to him, and I
Mhm.
had my official jersey given to me when we got married,
Okay,
and
so
so
wait, the jersey doesn't come until marriage? Is this what
I
I'm hearing?
mean, it depends, right? It depends. He did give me a sweatshirt before, but this was like a new level. And then we do brunch during the Buckeye games, and that's definitely I love brunch, and it's like a noon
See?
game. So yeah, it works. It works.
Okay, so did
Um,
he do some things like this to try and entice you to be interested in the Buckeyes?
yeah, absolutely. Food was involved, 100%. 100%. I was like, well, what are we gonna
See?
have during the game? Yeah, it makes a big difference.
This is guys, I'm just telling you if you're listening and,
Take
like, you're
notes.
hearing this, like, I'm never gonna marry a woman who doesn't watch sports. Just make her food, I promise.
Just
You
give
could
us
even
snacks.
get queso out of the fridge and put some chips and queso, and I'll be fine. Doesn't have to be
Totally.
hard.
Totally. Yeah. The other example I have is my husband, he loves to fly fish, as I mentioned. So he loves to go to the beach here in Florida. And actually, there's like fly fishing on the beach. And he will
Fun.
walk like 9 miles in a day, just like walking up and down the beach. And he wants me there because, yes, he wants me to enjoy the experience, etc. So he knows he has to pack my beach tent, my beach chair, make sure I have all my snacks, my reading, my blanket, sometimes a speaker. I mean, this is an extravagant packing arrangement. And he knows that that's how I will go to the beach and I'll sit there for hours and hours. And he happily sets up my tent and my chair. And it's because I'm involved in the activity with him. So, anyways, I think it's such a good example of needs. Like, what do you need? So that both people are enjoying themselves, because then we're preventing resentment here. It's secure attachment, preventing resentment.
Exactly, and one of the coolest things about when you're truly in love with somebody is that you want to share everything with them, even if it's not something that they might have chosen. He'll it's so funny. He'll make bets and he'll be outside like mowing or something and he'll run in and say, "I hit another one." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's exciting. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I really love that." And it's genuinely just being excited for the what the other person is excited about. It's really not hard, right?
Yes.
It's genuinely being interested in something that they want to share with you because how cool is it that this other human being that came into your life wants to share with you every single thing that's going through them and they just want you to be happy or excited for them? Like how cool is that that's what we get to do? And so
Yeah,
to think that those things should be an inconvenience or that they should be looked upon as difficult or, oh my gosh, why would you do that for her to do something when you could just go by yourself? That you're missing the point. The point is that you want to share things with somebody you love because you love them.
exactly. And instead of self-abandoning and, like my past self with anxious attachment would have been like pretending to be interested in something. Like maybe I would have got the fly fishing rod and like pretended to get into fly fishing, but that's not the reality. So I think there's that truth of secure attachment. How do we both get our needs met and meet each other where we're at while spending time together? I
Mhm.
think it's so beautiful. And yeah, being let into someone's world and treasuring that. It's intimacy, it's closeness, right? And how do we get close to each other while both of us are getting our needs met? Yeah.
Yes, and I have to acknowledge for your husband, my boyfriend, and I know there's several partners out there who are like this, but for men alone, it's really difficult for them to share things because they've often been told, like, that's weird. Or I hear often, like, my boyfriend, it's so funny. We both love K pop Demon Hunters, the movie. I don't know if
I
you've heard
haven't
about this
seen
on
it yet.
Netflix.
I've heard the soundtrack, but I haven't seen it. I feel like I'm gonna watch it though. I have a 7-year-old niece. Is that age appropriate for her?
Yeah, maybe the demons might be a little scary in moments, but I think you'd be fine.
Okay.
Um, it's so good, like, you have to watch it
Okay.
regardless, but it's funny because he's obsessed with the soundtrack, he loves the movie, and he'll, like, be dancing and singing to it, and I'm like, "I love that you love this movie so much," and he's like, "I really appreciate that because before, it was always, shamed when I would have vulnerable
Mm,
moments or I would be who I would love music or I would love, nerdy things, and it would be this tension that I created just because of who I am, and
mm.
I think it's so cool that he decided, this is a safe place for me, and I'm gonna be exactly who I am because she lets me, and I think when you can meet a guy there and allow him to be vulnerable and allow them to show you all the parts of who they are, you're gonna have more of a chance for this type of need met because you're meeting their needs as well.
Reciprocal. Yeah. Holding space for each person to be their authentic selves.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very
That's
much so.
beautiful. So, and did I catch that you guys are living together now? You moved in together?
We did. Yeah, it happened very quickly, and it was very exciting, but y there was just really not a question in either of our minds, and it was funny because we both look at each other like, "Society, what are they gonna say about this? Because it's not their timeline. But we both were so happy he was spending every day here anyway. I have 2 animals, and I can't really leave them in the evening, so he was here all the time anyway, and he was already helping with stuff, and I was like, I don't see either of us going anywhere anytime soon, and he was like, "I agree." He's like, "I mean, I would have married you the day I met you if you let me, so yeah, moving in seems logical."
I love this. So he's been all in from the beginning. That's beautiful. And what I always tell people is I hate timelines. I hate like, oh, it has to be 6 months. Because the reality is when you can build secure attachment, that speeds up timelines, right? Like if I have the data on you and I'm secure and the relationship is secure, of course things are going to move a little bit more quickly. So clearly you had enough data, you had built enough secure attachment that this was a safe emotional investment for you to move in together.
Absolutely. Every sign was I often say he's a running green flag. He's not just a walking green flag. He's
A running green flag.
sprinting take off with the green flag. So
Oh my
there were
gosh.
no signs pointing to anything bad that I needed to be concerned about. And I'm I very much believe in when you live with someone, you see all parts of who they are. And so
Yep.
it was the natural next step.
I love it. I love it. What would you say we've talked about this a little bit, but what has been one of the biggest adjustments dating someone who is emotionally available and secure? What is different about it or what's been, I guess, almost hard to get used to?
A lot of things. There's moments where he'll do something, like, whether it's compliment me or he'll have There was one morning where I was running late and I was like, "Gosh, I have to be out the door. I gotta be here." He not only fed the animals, he did my entire morning routine. He had everything waiting for me. He had the supplements that I take in the morning, the drink that I have, the smoothie that I take with me to work. He had my water bottle filled up. My laptop was in my bag. He had been paying attention to every detail of what I do in the morning that I wasn't even paying attention to. And when I came down and saw it, I just kind of stopped in my tracks and I was like, "What?" It just was like this, um, I don't know how, like, I feel really good about this, but also what the like, my whole body was collapsing in on itself is what it felt like because I didn't quite understand that someone could pay attention to me and take such care in noticing that what I'm doing to make my life easier. And that's always what he does, right? He wants to do things, I want to do things to make his life easier. And that's never been reciprocated, so for me, anytime he's doing things for me, I get very, like, tense, and I'm like, "Oh, I can do that, that's fine." He's like, "Morgan, let me help you, let me." It's this funny joke now that he puts things on top shelves, so I do have to ask for help because I suck at asking for help, that he's, like, retraining my brain to realize that I don't have to do everything by myself, and that I can trust that he can also take care of things, because there's also always been this lack of believing that other people could take care of things because I've never been able to really see somebody do it to the full extent. And so that's probably been the hardest is just one, allowing him to be there for me and help me, but also trusting that he's got it and I don't have to micromanage a situation.
This is so good. You're allowing yourself to receive support and receive emotionally available, secure love.
Mhm.
And I love how you talked about sort of like some of the old fears about, okay, not trusting, etc. I think in toxic relationships, there's also a fear that it could be used against you. I know you relate to
Mhm.
this of like, oh, you're going to hear about it later. It's going to get used against you. And that was a big thing for me when I was really, I call it like softening into secure love and relaxing, learning how to relax into love, let your nervous system and your body relax into it. It's all about learning it's safe to receive this. I'm worthy of
Mhm.
it. It's safe to receive this. I can reciprocate this to my partner. So yeah, I love this conversation. Not enough people understand this, that there is that adjustment when you're learning what is it to be in a healthy relationship.
Mhm, and I very much communicated with him too because there's still me trying to, like, unlearn a lot of things, but there was also this, "Hey, there's gonna be times where I will probably just do stuff because I don't like to ask for help." Like, and I know that about myself, and so the way that you're gonna be able to help me until I can adjust is just doing stuff. And so he really took that to heart, and he just started doing things, and it became this kinda gateway for me to feel safe in asking for help because I was too scared to, just whether the response was gonna be bad or whether he wasn't gonna do it right or, I was gonna feel weird about it, all the things. So the only way that there was, like, this bridge to me finally being able to do this was me just saying, "Hey, just if you can take charge in certain ways without me having to tell you, I'm gonna probably go into this a little bit easier." And that's exactly what he's been doing in the adjustment period is just, like, kinda taking charge in moments, and then if he's like, "You have to tell me, though, if, like, you're feeling something," you have to be like, "Hey, please stop." And I haven't had to because it's felt so just natural. That transition has been a lot easier because of that, and I wish more people knew that because I think that's such a thing, not just in coming from a hard relationship to a good one, but I hear a lot of women who are like, "I just don't wanna ask. I don't want to say what I need." Like, there's just sometimes where I just need you to figure it out, and that's where a lot of resentment builds up is that you just always have to kind of, like, dictate a situation, and him creating the environment where I didn't have to really allowed me to ease into this more steadily than now where it's like every once in a while it'll pop versus before it was every single time.
This is so good. I so relate to this in my own journey. There's something about behavior, right? It's like one thing to hear words, etc., but to see somebody's behavior and how they're showing up and you're getting all this evidence that this person is there for you, they're attuned to you, right? And it lets you relax of like, oh, I don't have to constantly ask for what I need.
Mhm.
I don't have to do the emotional labor of always having to tune in and figure out what I need and then communicate it. And you're just getting this evidence of, hey, this person wants to show up for you. They want to support you. So now as you're getting more confident that that's in fact the case, you'll be able to ask for things so much more easily. So I love it. I love this, Morgan. I know
Mhm.
I mean, we could chat about this forever. I want to switch a little bit because we have so many people who tune in who are really struggling. They haven't
Mm.
found their person yet. They're like you and I, like, 5 years ago. For me, it would have been like 5 to 7 years ago. They're those past versions that you know how it is. Sometimes I got really dark. Like, this is never gonna happen
Mm.
to me. I'm gonna be the fun aunt. I'm gonna just adopt like 15 dogs and live in a house with 15 dogs. I had this whole other alternate
Yep.
path,
I'm pretty
okay?
sure I said that to you when you came on my podcast. I was like, "It's fine. I know I'm gonna run a rescue and it'll be fine one day."
Yes. I do remember you saying you weren't dating, and I was like, "Okay, yep." So anyways, talk to those people who are just kinda hopeless right now, and they just don't see it happening for them. Like, what would you want them to know?
I think the thing that really helped me when I was so down and just didn't know how my life was gonna turn out, you know, I really stepped into a place of owning my life. I said, "Okay, I don't have control." I've realized that. As much to my dismay as that bothered me. I don't have control over how this is gonna happen and when the person is gonna come, if they're going to come. But what I do have control over is how I live my life now. And I very much started focusing on the present moment. I stopped thinking about what's to come. I stopped thinking about my past. And I just really stepped into the here, the now. And what would Morgan, if I were to not be here tomorrow, what would I be so sad that I was doing? And what I would have been sad about is I was sitting there sulking and I was mad that I wasn't in the same place as all my other friends or things I was seeing on the internet. And I had to really take this step back and say, focus on this moment and let's start to do things that are going to make you really happy each day. I started getting more in tune with my health. I started doing things daily that made me happy. I'd take my dog on a walk and we'd listen to music. I did a little vinyl corner in my house because I really wanted to listen to records and I just started building things that were going to bring me happiness every single day instead of focusing on what I didn't have. And it's something I so wish I could have done so much sooner because truly, like, this last year, even in dating and getting out of my last relationship and into this one, even those in-betweens where I was really hard and I was just because truly after that last relationship ended, I remember just being like, I'm never gonna find someone, and I have to give this up because this isn't working, and I'm tired of being heartbroken, I'm tired of being sad, and this surely there's a better way to live my life. And I really just had this moment where I just started investing in myself a lot more and took all that love that I was trying to give away and put it right back into myself and said, "Show up for you." Because at this present moment in the here and now, all that matters is you and the life that you have. So let's step into that some more. And I just really empowered myself in that direction. And gosh, that Morgan would have saved other Morgans early in her 20s a whole lot of heartbreak and a whole lot of pain.
This is so beautiful. It goes back to this core message of you can't wait to be happy. We all fall in that trap of, oh, when this, then I'll be happy, right? When I have the relationship, then I'll be happy. So you saying that you took full ownership of creating your own happiness because the truth is that a relationship is simply a multiplier. it's just going to increase happiness, make it bigger, but it's not going to fill the void. It's not going to just automatically give you the self-love or the happiness that you want. So I love this. This is the real truth, and it's a lot of healing to get to that place, I think. I think a
Mhm.
lot of us do kind of get to that sort of rock bottom. I can't keep doing this over and over again. And you just make that realization of I have to show up for me first. So yeah, I love that you shared that.
Well, and I will tell you too, because you say, you can't wait to be happy. I was really waiting. I had never been to Europe and I was dying to go. I really wanted to go. And I kept waiting, thinking I need to share that with whoever I'm going to be with one day. And I finally, after I had hit that rock bottom moment and really started to rebuild, I was texting with one of my girlfriends. I was like, I have been wanting to go to Europe for Christmas for so many years. And she's like, well, what are we waiting for? And I said, you know what? We're not. We're going. And truly going to Europe with my best friend, we had an insane week of just this life altering experience. And we came back and I was a completely different person. It was just like this.
Mm.
Okay, we're good. I'm good. And we're going to be okay. And I'm going to keep moving through this. And that was in January. It was 2 months before I met my boyfriend. And I was just a completely different person.
I love it because I feel like it's like you taught your brain, your nervous system, your body, yourself that, hey, I'm going to do the things that I want to do. I can trust myself to show up for me and to show up for my happiness. Right? That's such a beautiful
Mhm.
experience. Where did you go in Europe? I have to know.
We did Paris and Brussels, Belgium, because I wanted to eat all the chocolate. And then we went to Barcelona. So, like, truly, and
Gosh.
it was like we still joke to this day. It was truly both of our rom-coms come to life. We had so many fun stories, and it was the perfect thing to truly, like, what I now realize, to end single Morgan's, like, era,
I love
because
it.
it was such a cool closing chapter. It was like the end of a series, and it just everything gets put into perspective, and you just have this realization, and you have all these beautiful stories, and now it's like, "Okay, it's time. You're ready." And I can look at that situation now and be like, "Holy crap, a lot was happening."
That's amazing. I love it. And it's such a reminder too to enjoy your single season. Like you those are moments you're gonna cherish. I love it. That's awesome.
Mhm. Very much so. There's stories to come for, one day when somebody's asking, like, "What'd you do?" I'll be like, "Oh, listen here. I got stories for you, okay? I was wild."
I love it. I love it. That is so fun. Okay, I have a couple more questions for you. What are you looking forward to in your relationship with Mr. B? What are you excited about?
I am just so excited to keep learning about each other. Honestly, I feel like it's so funny because we know so much about each other and we've already experienced a lot of things together. But every day there's just something new, whether it's a quirk that comes up or a story from his childhood or something like that. I hope that I'm learning new things about him every day for the rest of my life. That would be the goal, right? That would be the hope is every day I'm just learning something new that he's evolved or he's changed or there's certain things that he wants. And I think being curious is such a beautiful, playful part of our relationship, and as long as I never lose that with him, I will be very happy. And of
I
course,
love it.
it'd be really cool if one day I can get married on a mountaintop. That would be awesome.
Yes, we were talking a little bit about weddings. And so you were saying, tell us, like, what is your dream wedding?
Well, basically, it's the one I'm pretty sure I saw you have because you're in the mountains and then eating your favorite foods. Like, genuinely, I would love a small wedding on the top of a mountain and just beautiful views. I'm with the love of my life. My dog and cat are there because I'm a crazy pet lady. And then I get to have a meal with all the people that we love that have supported us and been so close with us. And we're just sitting around a table having my favorite meal. And we're married and that's it. Like, beyond that, I don't care. I don't care about decorations. I don't care. Heck, I wanna wear a pretty dress because I love sparkles, but it doesn't have to be a specific one. I just wanna feel beautiful, and I wanna be in a beautiful place with all the people that we love.
I
So
love it.
please tell me that's what your wedding was, 'cause I'm pretty sure it was.
Yes, that was definitely part of our wedding, and then we did have, like, a ceremony more, quote, unquote, "traditional," day, but I will say that version of just being in the mountains together, um, it was magical, it was magical. Everybody we were in Glacier National Park, and everybody was driving by, honking their horns at us, yelling congratulations out the window, and it was just a big party, honestly, in the mountains, so it was really, really special.
And you told me after that you guys went and had pizza in
We
bed,
had
which is also my dream.
pizza in bed, and it was amazing. It was
S
amazing. Yeah.
See, and that's what it's so much about. We see on social media, like, especially because 'cause we're seeing people have these big weddings and these just grandiose looks, and I think it's so cool to see a wedding like that. I think it's beautiful if you can afford it and that works for you. I just also don't think it's necessary unless, like, that's been your dream your
No.
entire life. Like, I would hate
Girl,
for people
no.
to change their dream for that.
Oh, when I see people that have invested, and I'm sorry, I know this is just different priorities, but if you are spending like 200,000 or 300,000 on a wedding, I love real estate investing. In my head, I'm like, you could have bought an investment property. You could have bought two investment properties
Yes.
and you had a big wedding, and I just think don't do it because of how it looks. Don't do it because of the photos that you wanna post on social media or because you're comparing yourself to the photos that are on social media. If you genuinely wanna spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on your wedding and you've saved for it and you feel so good about it, by all means, go for it, but don't do it because you feel like you have to.
Yes. Could not, like, 100%, like, yes, just put my stamp of approval on what you just said. I think
Yes.
it's wild. We've allowed social media to infiltrate so much, and that is just such a special moment in your life that you should not be doing anything that you do not want to be doing. Like, period, paragraph. I don't care if it's your family who's trying to change it. Like, do exactly
Yes.
what you want on that day.
I agree. I agree. I agree. Yep. Some of my favorite moments during my wedding was for sure the first look, just, my partner and I and the photographer. And then, yeah, some of our time in Glacier National Park, just the two of us there. So that's what it's about. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Just the two
Very
of
much
us.
so.
Yeah. This has been so fun. I love catching up with you. I have a question that I ask every guest. Before I do, though, how can people connect with you? Tell us all the things.
Okay, so Web Girl Morgan everywhere, Instagram, TikTok,
It's
all
in
the
the show
good stuff.
notes. Yep.
Yep. And then my podcast, Take This Personally. The whole purpose of that podcast is to help people feel less alone during their hardest struggles. It was the reason I brought you on was talking about relationships, and we talk about all kinds of things on there from disabilities to hardships in dating to losing friendships to what it's like in work life. Like we cover it all. So if you're just looking for a place to not feel alone, then that's the podcast.
Yes, I love your
Oh,
show. You
and
have
I'm
so
on the
many.
Bobby Bones show, but people know that, so
Yes,
that's
yes.
fine.
There as well. Yes, yes. No, but I love your show because I do feel like you have so many different topics and it's just really good to have conversations about all those areas of life. So go check out her podcast. It's really good. It's one of the few I listen to. I don't listen to that many.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
I love
Morgan.
yours.
Oh,
But
thanks.
I'm telling you, the content when you were posting for your wedding, I was locked in. I was like, "Okay, what's next?" I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the wedding updates.
I've got all kinds of, thoughts for you when you get to that place. But um all right, I have a final question. I ask every single guest this question, and it is this. If you were walking down the street, someone comes up to you, they're asking you for your best life advice of the moment. So if this happened today, what would you say to that person?
I think it echoes to what I was mentioning earlier, but this life is so incredibly short. You could live 1,000 years old and it would still be short. You should make sure that every day you're living is the life that you want to live. And if it's not, then do something about it. Do take a small step to change it because you get one chance at any of this. And if you aren't doing it exactly how you want to and you're afraid of what people might think or you're afraid of what's to come, the only thing that's stopping you is you because life is just it's worth it to live it in the way that you deserve to live it. And I think everybody should be honored and just, get the opportunity to have that beautiful life that they want to have because we're all deserving of it.
That's so beautiful, and I think it's all about that authenticity and trusting yourself and knowing that your ideal life is unique to you. It's not gonna look like anybody else's, and having that bravery to honor what your ideal life looks like. So, I love that. That's
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes, just like both of us are doing, not just in love, but in life. I think both of us
Yes.
have found secure attachment through all of it, and that's such a beautiful place to be.
Yes, and oh my gosh, I know you will agree with this that when you have that securely attached relationship, I feel like it's adding energy to your life instead of subtracting. And it's such a beautiful, secure foundation to then go out and explore even more and do even more and take more risks and be more of your authentic self. So that's to me the sign of the healthy relationship. You're more of yourself.
Absolutely. You should always everything in your life should be adding to your life, not draining from it, and relationships included. It's one of the most important foundations to make sure you can keep existing because we've all been there when we've had draining relationships and you come home and you're like, "Dang, this is only going to get worse." I hate that anybody has to feel that way. So
Yeah.
I hope that people realize that they're deserving of more. I hope people never settle. I hope they really chase after what they want because this world can teach you that, you're doing the wrong things and you're going for the right purpose, but you're doing it the wrong way. It will try and tell you to do everything a certain way and it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. What matters is that you get what you know you're deserving of and you live the life that you want to live with the people that you deserve to live with.
Absolutely, absolutely, and thank you for being vulnerable with us on Let's Get Vulnerable and sharing about your relationship. I love seeing your content with Mr. B. And yeah, just love getting to see you at this stage. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me and you're doing amazing work for people who really need it. The ones who are going through it and the ones who are even have found it like me now. So keep doing it. You're inspiring always. So I appreciate you having me.
Thank you. And to everybody listening, we are both wishing you high self-worth and great relationships.
Yes, snaps.
Yes, yes. All right, we'll talk soon. Thanks, everyone.